guys, I know it's been a while since I've last made a video for you guys to view, and because I'm working on so many tins, I decided to do one of those tins as a video because it includes AI. So let's get started. So right now you can see I'm in Visual Studio Code. You don't have to use exactly this code editor. All I say is I use a code editor and not a notebook kind of things like Jupyter Notebook or Google Colab, because they don't support virtual environments like these code editors do, and virtual environments are what we're going to use today. I'm going to explain virtual environments a bit more, so don't worry if you don't know what it means. The first thing we need to do here is open up a terminal. You can drag it up, or you could go to View, click it, and you can see Terminal at the bottom. You can click Word Wrap right now. So you can click Terminal right here. It says a command on Windows, Control plus an asterisk, or whatever the symbol is. If it works on Mac or Linux, you can do it too, or you could try to see what it says in your own Visual Studio Code or your own editor. So now that this is open, we're going to say a command that we're going to use to open a new virtual environment folder. But first, let me explain a virtual environment. So a virtual environment is a self-independent directory where you can isolate Python projects without affecting other projects or global Python installations. It also allows you to install different Python library versions without conflicts, like I said in the beginning. So now I'm going to show you guys what you need to make your own virtual environment. So the command you need to use is python-m, and they say venv, or V for virtual, env for environments. So this is going to create a virtual environment for you guys to use. You just click enter, and you should see a new folder pop up here. If you open this folder, you should see include, lib for libraries, and scripts. Don't worry too much about include or library. We're not going to be using any of these. The only thing we're going to do is say /venv/scripts and /activate. If you want to know more about this, in our venv folder, we have a scripts folder. If you open that, you can see we have an activate. The activate we're using is not this. It's this you're going to use. Activate.bat. And if you want to deactivate your virtual environment or you don't want to be using it, you just use this file's name. You don't have to use the code in it. So we're not going to be going into any of these files. I'm just showing you what each file looks like. If you click enter, it should work. If it doesn't work for you, you need to use this command, set execution. And before you start, if you're writing it currently, just don't write it right now, because that's not what it's for. So set execution policy. I'm writing the command for you guys to see. And you see dash execution policy. And then again, after that, you're going to say remote signed. And then you're going to say dash scope current user. Current in capital, let's see. And user still in capital. Like this. Let me close that so you guys can see it fully. This command here. You're not going to run it in Visual Studio Code. You're going to go to Windows PowerShell, right click on the app in your search bar, and click Run as Administrator. If you see, do you want to allow this app to make changes? Click Yes, and then put this command in there, and then it should allow you. Once you're in there, set Y, so you can use /dev/scripts/activate. It's not going to work on here, so I'm just going to delete it all. And now let's move on. So after we have our virtual environment created and we've activated it so we can use it, we're going to start importing the modules we need. So we're going to say pip install speech recognition. It should change here to pip to know that you're downloading it. And now you should see a download happen. And then once you have that, you're going to do another installation. Pip install pythonProjects3. I'm going to explain the meaning of these two modules, but for now, just run these two commands. It should work. And now I'm going to make one more installation right here, which is pip install pyaudio, and you click enter, and you should see all this. So now we're using pyaudio with one of our modules. And pyaudio is what we're going to use with speech recognition, which is the first one we imported, to make sure it can hear what we are saying. So pyaudio is going to listen to what we say, and then it's going to add it in, and then speech recognition is going to use that, and then pyttsx3, which we imported second, is going to turn that into text for us to use. So now, let's get started. While it's loading, let's create the file we're going to use. The first thing I want you guys to do is click out of your folders area and click new file. Then I'll call this, normally I'll just call it a number, but let's say speech to text.py. So this is a Python file. Now we have the Python file we're going to be writing our code. Let's start this. To make sure you have these modules imported, do import speech. You should see something like this show up to show that you have it. If you don't, try making sure you have it installed. And if it comes up in Visual Studio Code or something, a code editor, and it's in a color you know it's meant to be, or it's blank like it should be, to know that it's installed, we're going to say as SR. Now the next module we have here is import, and we say pyttsx3. And you can see it here, which shows that we've successfully installed it. And now let me give you a brief understanding of what this is for. So speech to text. It also often comes with Google Translate. Or when I say Google Translate, I mean it's going to recognize it's based on the English from here. So the command we'll be normally using to start this off is .init. And now let's explain, let me show the usage of this one. This is to start or terminal or this project to start running. We're using this only once to start it with init initials. Now that we have that, let's make a variable called R for recognition and set it to SR, which we've shortened the name because we don't want to write the whole thing. Recognizer. Add the bracket at the end. Don't add any inputs into it. And this is initializing the recognizer. The next thing we need is to define a function of speak words or text. And we're going to take command. Now in here, we're going to add a colon. Now to initialize the engine or the project to start, this is where we're going to use the only usage of this PyTTSX3 module, we're going to say engine is going to equal to PyTTSX3 dot init. And then after that, the next thing you should do is engine dot say command. And after that, I'm going to say engine dot run and wait. Unchange that to an E. So the engine is going to do this command, say command. And then after that, the command is going to actually be the text we're saying. And then it's going to run and wait. And then during the run and wait is when it's going to actually run this command or run this function here. Now we're going to make a loop infinitely for the user to speak. Let's see. While 1, you can use any number, but that's just a normal number to start this off and make it easier. Try. And now you're using this while loop to handle exceptions at the runtime also. So that's why we're using the try except block. In case there's any errors, we don't want the project to crash. And we're going to use an except block to show something to notify the person. And this is going to continue on. So we're going to say with sr dot microphone. Now one thing to tell you guys about, you have to make sure that you have microphone enabled for Python so that the Python project actually works and it doesn't crash. So we're going to say with sr dot microphone as source. You can see we have source defined here. We're going to say source 2. Now we're going to use the microphone as source for inputs. We're setting this as of this variable. So right now what we're doing is we're waiting a second to let the recognizer adjust the energy threshold based on the surrounding noise level with this command or function that we're going to add next. R dot adjust for ambient noise. If your code editor has like simple fill commands, you can just click on enter to make it easier for you to write code. But this command is R dot adjust for ambient noise. R, as you know, is SR the recognizer, and SR is a simplified name for us to use for speech recognition. If you didn't know and you just skipped ahead, now we're going to say source 2. I'm going to say duration, how long it's going to take to process it, 0.2 seconds. We can try 0.1, but we want some time for this thing to start up and filter out all the unnecessary noise so the person speaking it can actually understand them. And now the next we're going to add here is going to be, let me just click tab, and it's audio 2, which is going to be equal to r dot listen, and it's going to listen for noise from our microphone, which source 2, which is our current microphone right now. So we say source 2, and the source is the microphone if you didn't know. Now we're going to move on and we're going to say spoken words variable or sentence equals to r dot recognize. And after that, we're going to say Google. And what we're using this here is using Google to recognize the audio, and we're going to use the English from Google so the tin can filter it out and figure out what we're saying with that English from Google. So it's data. And then we're going to say audio 2. After that, we're going to still say spoken sentence is going to equal. So we're resetting this variable again with the data it had last, which is above it, sentence. And then you're going to say dot lower to make everything lowercase. It's a really simple act. This is just so that it doesn't come in like different varying words. Now, the next thing we're going to say is to see if it's actually got what we're saying. So we're going to say, there are many ways to write this. The way I'm going to use is a F string. Did you say? And I'm going to add that. And after I'm going to add spoken sentence. So now it's going to ask if we actually said this. Some other options could be, I'm going to copy this to make it quicker. Paste. I could say, did you say? And instead of using the F string, you could actually just put a blank bracket here, and then the format is like an F string, but it's in a different way. The sentence. Although I still recommend this what I wrote here for simplicity if you're a beginner, and print. And then after that, we're going to say, did you say? I could use a comma because the thing we're adding next is actually a string, and that's why we're using dot lower. Spoken sentence. Now that we have that there, we're going to use this function up here, speak words, to actually write the sentence out or write the text out. So I've shown a bunch of other ways. You can use this print statement. You can use this way. Or you can use this way. Don't include the comma. It's just there to separate the two. Now, next we're going to do is speak text, or I said speak words. Are going to say spoken sentence. Now that we have that, we're going to add our accept area of the try except block, so it can catch an error and not crash down the project. So we're going to accept SR dot request error. It will tell the user an error happened as E. Let me say cannot request results. I'm going to code not request results. And then we can show the error for them. Here I'm just going to add a 0. You don't need it, but I still recommend you add it if you're not going to use this F string here and you're going to use a different format of it. I recommend you use this. It's a 0. And now here I'm going to say, to show it's outward, I'm going to say 0 dot format with a bracket, and then I'm going to add the variable itself, or the variable with the error, E. As we're putting the error into this little variable to print out later. Now, in case another error occurs, we could use another error that could actually happen. Let me just add a space here, and which is sr dot unknown value error. We don't need as E for this. Print resetting. And once we have that, we're going to hit resetting connection. Unknown value. So it's going to reset connection because of unknown value, because this is a loop. And for the last area, accept sr dot connection error, or you could just say connection error, which is connection resets. Connection has been reset. Okay, so we have all this out. Now, before we actually run this, let me tell you that this function right here, which is speak words, is only if you want to hear a AI or a voice speak this for you, which is what this is going to do. So the speak function here is for initials, and it's also for text to speech. So if you want to hear it, you can do it. If you don't and you just want to see what it says, I would say comment out this section. I'm going to comment this out because the noise can be pretty loud when you're saying speak words. And it should work. I've tried this already and it's worked. And then we're just going to click run. It's going to take a few seconds as it's going to try and filter out background noise before it actually starts working. And right now you can see it's going to actually try and filter out and actually start. It's saying what I'm currently saying, but just in the terminal for you guys to see. So you should wait a while and you should see it pop up. So if an error occurs like I said, it's going to show what I've put here, except these happens. So if it's a request error, that's going to happen. And then the no value error, this is going to work. And the connection reset error, that's going to happen. It's not actually that accurate with understanding what you're saying. So you might see something in there that it's not actually what you're saying. It's AI, so it's still trying to do all this. It's trying to say or write what exactly what you're putting the best it can do. So it's not exactly accurate, but it's a start. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos. And I'll see you in the next video.